I'm Mike Brilla, host of the Inspired Teacher Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
We're back. We're here. It's season 4. We can actually say all those things with a little bit more oomph. Because usually when Will and I say it week to week, we're back. We're here. We were just there like last week.
We're here. We're there. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We've been gone for a little bit. You know, it's been a couple weeks.
We actually took a break from producing the episodes.
From producing. We won't let you know when we're recording this episode or not. But releasing episodes, we took a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah. It was nice. We recorded pretty much for 2 years straight. Like, we might have had some vacations and stuff here and there, but like, we just kept the seasons going for 2 years. And so it's nice to kind of think of seasons in smaller bits now.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah. Some of you listening are still like, wait, you do seasons? I don't understand.
Ta-da! This is season 4.
And it's season 4. It's the opening to season 4 and the opening to an event that we have come to term ExtraCanva. Like, if we had, I should have brought real like confetti. Like,
yes, listener, if you're not watching, Josh and I both put our hands up like we were doing it and went
like did ExtraCanva. Yes. So kicking off season 4 is also episode 100. We have done 100 episodes as we've debated on the podcast several times in past episodes. Technically, it's more than 100, but we never numbered those other ones. So this is the 100th episode.
We could have just ignored it.
We could have, yes. But I had to be honest.
I love it.
But anyway, so 100th episode, and to celebrate that a little bit and the kickoff of season 4, we're coming back to our roots. In episode 1 of the HiTech podcast, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. We talk about Canva. It's one of the first tools that we talked about. Not one, it's literally the first tool we talked about.
That is an actual number. It's not
an actual number. It's not debatable. Unlike episode 2, where we talked about whiteboards, and Will and I talked about way too many whiteboards.
4 or 5 or 17.
4 or 5, which is why we now only talk about one app per episode. But
yes,
Canva was our first episode. We talked about Canva. As you guys, if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know that Will and I use Canva a lot. Specifically, I use Canva a lot for both work and for the website. All our images and things are built through Canva. We have templates, we have a whole bunch of stuff in there, to which we talk about a lot.
Josh is being very humble and saying he's including me, but let us be very clear. I'm not sure the last time I logged into Canva.
Well,
Josh has templates.
We're not exactly super collaborative in our image creation.
No, but you do your thing, I do my thing. But no, from what I remember of Canva, it's fantastic. From what I see that Josh produces with Canva, it's fantastic.
It's a great tool. And my team also uses it for creating images, a whole bunch of stuff. That's a whole bunch of background. We talk about that in episode 1 even, about usage of Canva. And we've talked about it before on the podcast a couple different times when it's come up. Canva is definitely a tool. If you haven't heard about it, I don't want to say you've been living in a cave or don't work in education, but probably. I'm just saying, like, most people in education have heard of Canva now at this point. They're kind of dominating
very popular.
Their zone for very many reasons. I most often comment because I don't have to click 7 places like I do in Adobe Photoshop to create stuff.
7 sounds like an understatement.
Yeah, well, I was giving them some credit, Anyway, so Canva, I think, is growing very popular because it's a much easier tool to use for stuff like that, but they're also doing video and a whole bunch of stuff, which you'll discover in this episode. Because in this episode for ExtraCanva, 1, we're going to be posting more on Twitter this week, so if you don't follow us on Twitter, go do that. Go find us at HiTech Podcast. We're going to be posting things.
And if you're following
basically
the podcast,
a daily basis,
like 3 years from now, go back in time, use the Wayback Machine, and find our posts from that week.
Go search, or message us and be like, I couldn't find them because it's 4 years from the date that you recorded this. I don't know why we're talking to future people now, but apparently
we hope that they're listening.
We're hoping. I know, but like 4 years, or like, hey, 4 years from now. Anyway, if you're in that zone, you're in the future. Message us if you can't find it on Twitter. If you're like the people listening right now and you're going to join Twitter, find us on Twitter and check out the content. We're going to be posting all week about Canva to celebrate our ExtraCanva episode, not series, but a whole week.
It's an ExtraCanva.
It's an ExtraCanva. I just want to keep saying it as much as I can. Anyway, this episode, though, we are going to actually be hearing from 3 different people. This episode's actually going to be a little bit different. We went out and found a handful of people who use Canva in education sense, guests, if you will, which is literally what they are. But that they use Canva in their educational sense on a regular basis. Like Will has admitted that he's not actually using it very much right now. I use it a lot for work and for the podcast, but my environment's not quite the same probably as the average instructor, even designer using things. We have a very systemized, masterized course development system that we do. So there's a lot of different processes for what we use Canva for. So we wanted to get some input from those who are using it on a regular basis with students for projects, activities, things like that. And so we have guests who will be telling us about their experience.
Yeah, pretty much just little snapshots, vignettes, because like we love having backgrounds in education, working in education, working around education, but we know hearing from each teachers is key, right? I'm excited. All right, fourth wall. We've recorded some of them, not all of them at the moment, and what we've already heard is exciting. I'm really thankful for our new friends. I'm excited to hear the podcast come together for this episode to celebrate a good tool, a tool that celebrates its own community, a tool that's built around and with educators. But to hear these educators, like I'm not going to spoil it. I would not have thought to do the projects they're doing. And it's so cool. Yeah. I'm so excited for you to hear our guests in this episode because their spotlight is going to be awesome.
Yeah. There's a couple things that they share. I have to be honest, as somebody who considered themselves kind of a pro Canva user. Like I use Canva on a daily basis pretty much at this point. Some of the stuff they shared, I was like, I feel like a noob. I haven't done that.
I didn't think you could do that.
I didn't even think you could do that. That's fantastic. So interestingly enough, you'll find in a few of the interviews, a lot of video content being used. So since we already broke fourth wall, we know some of what's coming up for you. There's some video conversations, and that's a newer thing in Canva within the last year or so. So it's really cool to see people using that more. So anyway, it's gonna be a great time. You will hear from all 3 of them. We're gonna be transitioning through each of those interviews, so you can just kind of take the ride. Will and I are gonna kind of hand it over to our other selves doing those interviews, and you can just kind of listen interview by interview and hear what they're doing. And Will and I will come back in here at the end to give our normal feedback, our normal thoughts, little debrief, if you will.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's jump in.
All right, Ferks.
Ferks? That's a new one. Okay, Ferks. Those listening to the HiTech podcast, you are now Ferks. That's a fan term, apparently.
Sometimes this is just the way things happen. It's been a day. Folks, we are here, Josh and I, with Christie Thompson. Christie, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic and not even a little bit worried about tripping over my words now because it's a safe space. Like that.
As long as I stumble straight into it first, it makes our guests that much happier and calm.
You stumbled so the rest of us could walk, Like that's,
That's touching.
Wow. Really I'm glad I'm so good to you all that way. Christie, you are the first of our guests up. We're very excited to speak with you. Thank you for taking the time. We are here for Canva Extravaganza. Thank you for taking the time.
In case you want to go there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the working title. We'll see.
Yeah, working title. We never really nailed that down. But anyway.
Just to help us get started, give us a little bit of background about you. Who are you? What do you teach? Where are you in the world? Why do you love Canva?
Okay. So my name is Christie Thompson, and I am, let's see, how you want to say it, seasoned, veteran, not old. We don't want to go with that, but
not mature, not old, but seasoned. I like that one.
Educator. This is my 22nd year in the classroom.
Wow.
I am fully virtual for the past 2 years, and I also adjunct currently at Thompson University, helping teacher candidates prepare for their own classroom experience. Let's see, what are some things? Last year was a really good year for me. I was awarded the GAETC Rising Star Award. And and also the Nearpod North Star Educator of the Year Award. And this year I started with Empower, which is my school Empower virtual program in Coweta County. I got Teacher of the Year. So it's
crushing it.
Yeah. So and Canva is helping me do all of those things for free. It's amazing.
Dude, I love when a tool can set you up like that and give you the space to just use it with your students as opposed to worry about the dollars and cents. Sometimes we gotta, but tell us a little bit about like the teaching experience. So like you've been virtual the last 2 years. Is this something that came out of the pandemic specifically, or were you looking to switch into this?
Well, I have always done a lot of virtual adjuncting. Prior to teaching with Thompson University, I worked with Columbia Southern University out of Mobile, Alabama, which was really cool. Orange Beach actually was where it was located. It was really awesome when they brought us in for professional development. But for the most part, I was here in Georgia and didn't get to go to Orange Beach. So I've been doing virtual way before virtual was like the cool thing to do. And then when our county, it did kind of come along with the pandemic because so many parents thought this is a great option for my kids. It gives us sort of the best of both worlds. And so the county continued with a virtual program, and I was super happy to get to start with it.
Do you go in the office ever, or is like your home is your office?
Well, actually, no, we go into the office every day. Yeah.
Oh, you teach from the district virtually.
Yes. It is a dream of mine to hopefully one day go to a hybrid schedule, but we haven't made it there yet.
Frankly, I think you just need to show admin your map and your ability to pull in realia for real teaching experiences.
Right?
I think you got a case.
Well, honestly, they have a really good case too, though. They got us e-glass this year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. They're so cool. It's like you write on it and it transposes the writing so the kids don't see it backwards, and you can pull in video and just all kinds of cool things. So yeah, that's at my office.
Never mind, stay there.
Right.
Don't go. It's like the second you see the e-glass, I was like, never mind. I'm fine with a no hybrid work environment. If I get e-glass, I'll just put it wherever you want me. I'll go there.
Yeah, it's a really fun toy. I like it a lot.
That's amazing. Hey, cool. last question for me then, and I think Josh has got something to pull in after that. But when did you get introduced to Canva? Like, is this something you've been using the last year, or you've been using it, I don't know, since it started?
Honestly, I'm not even sure when it started, but no, I cannot claim that. And I'll tell you why, because I heard of Canva and I went on Canva and all of these little things had crowns on everything, and everything I tried to click, a little crown came up and said I needed a pro version. And I was like, oh, forget this. I mean, I'm not paying for all this jazz. And then I started teaching virtually. And our principal was like, well, what about the education version? All you got to do is go on to their little, there's a little link, and I was like, what? How did I not know this? And so I went and I signed up, and it took away every single crown, and I fell in love with Canva. It was
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey,
awesome.
Listener, we didn't even ask her to promote the free education version. We have nothing to do with the free education version. We're just happy that it came up organically.
Much as we love Canva, this isn't even sponsored by Canva, which, Canva, you're listening. We're, hit us up.
Not a sponsor yet.
Yeah, hashtag not a sponsor yet.
They've been around 10 years. Canva was founded in 2013.
I still want to be an ambassador, but, if we're throwing out hashtags. So, 20 years, really? I have no idea.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they've been around that long. Clearly, we do our research. But anyway, so you've been using Canva for a little while. So how are you actually? I'm sure you've a bunch of different uses. So, but how have you used Canva in education so far?
Well, I use it for all kinds of things. Just simple everyday things. But I think the most powerful thing that it's done is really provide my students with opportunities to demonstrate their learning in more engaging and more inviting ways. And right now, so many teachers are all up in arms about AI and if the essay is dead. And there are definitely some true concerns, but there's also a lot of validity to if we change our lessons so that they're not just able to type in a prompt, then you can really view learning in a completely different way, and in a way that I think connects with students. I've had so many of them ask to do something again, or can they make their own templates, and it's amazing when you get to see a 12-year-old engage in something, because 12-year-olds are notoriously unengaged unless it's a video. So anytime I ask something and they're like, wow, I really like that, can we do that again? I'm like, yes, score for me, points.
You hooked them.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. So what are some of so you're using it with your students? Do you like 1 or 2 examples of maybe like a project or something you've done with them where they've gotten to use Canva?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I do. One of the things that I have always, as a history teacher, had a huge heart for is the Holocaust. It is a very difficult subject to teach, and it's a very needed subject. And I think a lot of people worry about in middle school, because are they really prepared for something like that? And honestly, I'm not sure that you're ever really prepared to learn something like that. But I do think that it is a perfect opportunity for students to develop empathy. And this year with Holocaust, our Remembrance Project, what I did was ask the students to create a video of a Holocaust victim. And when you go to the Holocaust Museum, they list sort of little biographies of many of the victims. And so I took roughly about 40 of those and set it up so that the students could see a flash of that person's life daily. So like the first day, they would choose a person and they would see what happened to that person before the war. And then the next day, a new thing would be uncovered where they would see what happened to them during the war. And then on the third day, they would find out if the person survived the war or not.
Wow.
So then we used Canva to create videos memorializing the individual that they had studied for the week. And it was a little bit of a learning experience for me because I'm a little bit of a type A teacher. I like all of my little ducks in a row, and I'm a huge template fan. Huge template.
Yes.
Type of template, right?
Yes.
Like the boys, even if they put in different stuff, they can't make it too not pretty, right? Like I like my finished product to be pretty. And so I did something really outside my comfort zone, and I gave them a blank video. And I was like, you've got a few instructions on the side, and like in the speaking points, it would just say, this is where you need a picture of the person that you are memorializing, and you need to have music in the background, and just little things like that. But it was not a template. It was just blank. And they did just an absolutely incredibly amazing job with it. I could not prouder of the work that they did. And we had some of the most profound conversations that I've ever had with seventh graders. We talked about, because background music was part of it. They needed background music to play in their video. And so we got to discuss how music can really set a mood, and how you're not going to want like a driving drum beat necessarily if you're talking about the Holocaust, and you might look more toward classical music and things that, how does this make you feel as opposed to this? And it was just really, like, I had never been able to integrate music that way in my teaching before, and it really was powerful. So Canva made it all possible.
That's amazing. Like, in the context of that, I love that you're saying, like, teaching them empathy, teaching them a critical piece of history, but you're doing it in one platform. Every element of that, like, you had to pull the biography data together, maybe put that in the LMS or whatever you, but like, then they just create everything via your template inside of Canva, from the audio, the video, any imagery, icons, transitions, one place, one-stop shop.
And it allowed them to really move beyond just what I had asked of them. I had a couple of students that even screencast over there. So you would see them on each of the video slides discussing what was happening and how it made them feel. And that was not even in my directions. And I was like, so proud, like proud teacher moment.
That's really cool.
Dang.
And so it sounds like you found that's really cool, because that's actually, so the video feature in Canva and even screencasting is a little bit newer for them over the last couple of years. So you found it pretty easy to use with the students.
Yeah, we did not have any problems at all. My students are virtual, so they probably are a little more familiar with some tools than the average seventh grader, I would say, because I mean everything is built on some sort of tool. So, but yeah, we didn't have any issues.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool to hear. I've not gotten a chance to use their video stuff as much, so I was really excited when they added stuff like that, because as Will mentioned, like, it's really cool to be able to have a platform where they can both create the video but then pull in, as the thing that I love about Canva is all the elements and things that people can pull in and get creative with that normally you're a bit more restricted in some other places. So that's cool that that's all kind of come together, that they could use it.
Well, and even Canva
of app smashing, but I love that Canva means that you kind of don't even have to app smash, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
It used to be. I mean, Canva's developed over the years too. Like, Canva started with the iconography, making banner images, some basic manipulation. Right now, I look over people's shoulders while they're working on it sometimes, like in coffee shops, even, like, holy smokes, that's not Photoshop. Like, what are you doing? Like, it used to be you needed Photoshop to get to the level of quality that you can do with Canva, and well, dang, it's revolutionary. This is an impromptu question, sorry, but I'm thinking through, like, this is an awesome example of how it came together. What's one thing that you'd love to see Canva do more of, or see better? Like, this is kind of encouraging, uplifting moment to hear what it is doing for you, but maybe there's something it could do that would make this even better. Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I would love if they would integrate, I'm not sure what the perfect wording would be, but like image hotspots, I guess. So you could do like bring in like some 360 images and sort of, as you manipulate around those images, have hotspots in them. I think that would be a really awesome feature for Canva for education.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we've actually promoted a few apps over the years that like only do 360 video. Like, the whole app is just for 360 video or 360 images. But thinking of that inside of Canva, like, sky's the limit. You could do anything with that.
When I teach my college course, we create a virtual field trip, and the sites out there for it are a little difficult. Some of them are not super user friendly for new teachers, and there some of the ones that are more user friendly are a little pricey. And new teachers, especially, you know, you're not going into teaching for the big bucks. So it would if that was something that I could tell my new teachers, hey, here's something that you are going to be able to work with and use with your students. Be incredible.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I upvote that idea all I can because I love hotspots. If I could just do them in Canva, because you're right, there's a lot of tools out there, but all the ones that I've found that are easy for people to get access to tend to either be more pricey or they got some, like Will and I have recommended a few, but we've always had to put caveats on that they're kind of sketch the way they work, or they seem difficult. So that's a cool idea. I like that. So anyway, Christie, thank you. I wish we had more time for this, but I'm sure we could probably end up having more conversations with you later on the HiTech podcast. But
Yes.
I appreciate your time and just your ideas. It's great to hear how people are using Canva, and especially video. That's what I always, when I look at Canva, I think a lot of images because that's what I use it for a lot. But it's really cool to hear somebody using it for a really awesome video project like what you're doing. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to stumble over my words this time like I did with the last interview, but it's fine. Everything's great. Thank you. We are joined now by Renee Dawson. Thank you for coming in this evening, Renee. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jump right in, right? A little bit about you. What do you teach? Where are you at? Anything you'd like to share in that regard? You don't have to overshare. You don't need to tell us your district if you don't want to, but a little bit of who are you?
I'm Renee Dawson. I am an educational technology specialist and Verizon Innovative Learning Coach at a middle school in Atlanta, Georgia. Before taking on that role, I taught special education for 15 years. I taught in middle school, high school, elementary, pre-K, and adult transition. I focused mainly on assistive technology for students with physical and health disabilities. I did that for about 9 years. And then the rest of my time was pretty much fifth grade math, except for one year where I did a juvenile justice reintegration program. That was my first year teaching. I was in South Georgia and reintegrated students from juvenile justice back to the classroom. Probably my favorite group of kiddos. I was 20 when I had them, and they were like all 15 and 16-year-old boys. So it was really, it was a really good learning experience. But I'm still in touch with all of them. I'm godmother to 4 of their kids, and none of them went back in the system. So that's a win for me.
Oh my!
Oh, that's awesome!
I want to cry. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've just like 4 more episodes we know you want to have you back for now. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What haven't you done?
I don't know. I haven't taught abroad.
Okay.
I looked into that, but I haven't done that. So that's still on the bucket list.
There you go.
Just pause those student loans for a year or 2.
Right. Ugh. The whole ball and chain in the form of student debt.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so a little bit of background there, where you've been, what you've been teaching, it's great. What would you say was like your first introduction to Canva? Is it something you've been using like for 1 or 2 years? We found out that it's been going on since 2013, so they're 10 years old this year. Have you been using it since day one?
No, I started using it last summer.
Okay.
I saw a commercial for it and was like, I love graphic design and I love digital art. It's a hobby of mine on the side. My boyfriend went to art school for a sequential art or comic book art. Yep. So he was like, try this. Like, I think you'd be really good, like, working in this platform because you, like, layer 5-10 different things on Google Slides. So that might just make it easier. Like, I during the pandemic, I made all my interactive learning slides that are now on my Teachers Pay Teacher store. With just Google Slides and layering different images and then saving it as a picture and uploading it as a background, so nobody can edit it. And then I would put interactive pieces on the side, and it would take hours. And I was up till like 2 a.m. every day doing this. So my boyfriend was like, "Try Canva. It might be easier than what you were doing in Google Slides." So it was definitely a cool platform, and I kind of taught myself how to use it that summer.
That's amazing.
Just started creating cool stuff and. People throughout the district, people in my school reach out to me to create stuff for them or show them how to create stuff. So it's just a fun hobby to have.
That's fantastic.
Wow. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. So you started in that direction. But just talking a little bit about it, how have you ended up using Canva in your very crazy and broad education experience? I can only imagine what you've actually ended up using it for.
My two favorite, I'm going to pick my two favorite things that I've used it for.
Yeah.
I'm a big gamified learning person. So my tech team, actually, I have to have a student tech team as part of the Verizon initiative, which is awesome because I get to still kind of teach. I get my techies at like a couple of days a week, and we learn technology, and then they do stuff for me outside of the classroom.
Cool.
But one of the things I do for them to teach them the different technology is I make escape rooms so they can work on them when they have time or when they're in my classroom. And Canva is a phenomenal place to make escape rooms because you can make all the backgrounds different. You can host them as a Canva website. You can do all these really cool things with them. So I make most of my escape rooms on Canva.
Oh! Will you have an example you can share with us?
Yeah, I have one example. I wanted to up it a little bit, so it's on Wix, but I can send it to you. It's all made from Canva.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Because with Wix, I can password protect every page. So I have every page password protected. So you have to solve the challenge and get the password before you can move on to the next island in the map. It looks like a video game map.
I love it.
That is amazing.
So, yeah, so I'll send it to you guys so you can see it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm a big escape room guy. Josh, you've done some. I think we've done one or two together, right?
We've definitely done one together. Apparently, it was not memorable because you don't remember it, but it's fine. Don't
remember anything.
I don't do like the real ones because I wouldn't have any friends or significant others if I did the real like in person ones.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good self-awareness, you know. But that's so cool. I've never, like, the second you said I did an escape room, that like clicked in my head how I could do an escape room in Canva. And then you're describing it, and that's the way I would end up doing it. And I was like, I feel very angry at myself for never thinking of that before. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
awesome.
Definitely.
Okay.
And then cool. The other way is I worked with a teacher that is one of our deaf and hard of hearing itinerant teachers in the district, and she was struggling with getting content to the students who are totally deaf and fluent sign language speakers because they don't always have the highest reading levels. So what we ended up doing was use the Canva presentation to video, and she has her interpreters sign through the entire, like every word on the slide, and then post the video so they can just watch the sign language and therefore read what's on the slides. So it's super, like, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, can't believe nobody's thought of that. So that's a really cool way that we're using it in Atlanta.
Wow.
Okay. That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing? It's so cool to see. Because a lot of the students are in transition to different schools, but we have to provide services while they're home. So this lets them like kind of do blended learning at home or asynchronous learning at home on a level that they can reach everything.
When I think about Canva, like again, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last interview. I don't know. I'll just say it again. I don't use it for classroom. I've only ever used it at a professional level, and that's been like make myself a LinkedIn banner or something. Right? Like I'm so simple, and then I hear these examples. I'm like, you can do that with Canva?
Yeah. I even use the presentation to video for my students that are in my reading intervention class. They make books for our self-contained autism and self-contained intellectual disability class. So they take their favorite picture books that they can actually read fluently. And instead of feeling weird that they're reading a second grade level book, they don't, because they're reading it. They're creating a presentation, re-illustrating the book, and then reading the book on the recording for us to send to students to listen to that like to listen to audio text and have the graphics in front of them.
That's super cool.
I'm over here like golf clap. Like, this is just amazing. I love that.
Yeah, that is super cool. That's why I love getting like so. Renee, a little bit about my experience too, because I'm definitely the one out of Will and I who use it more. Like I work in like masterized like online course development, so like a lot of what we use it for
online
is like
course development. We need to talk.
That was
my major in my doctoral program.
Oh, really? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yes, then we definitely need to talk. But we use it a lot for like image template creation, for like mass producing images and stuff throughout courses and things like that. So that's super cool though. I was just saying, it's funny, the video features are the things that are newer to me that they've added. I just haven't had time to play around with it or had a use for it because we have other video tools. So it's cool to hear how people are using that, because it's just I've not thought of that before, but the bigger connection of how you can take the image to video and use that for accessibility is really powerful. That's super cool, and especially for the freeness that we get of using.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it for
cool.
free. All right, so we have it in mind of what it's succeeding for you, and that's awesome. Is there something that you'd love to see it do more of? Like, or hey, like, so we got all these video features, like something that could take the video features to the next step. What do we need, or what
so
do we want
that
to see
actually is exactly it. The video features to the next step. You can take a video that's on YouTube and remove the background in Canva. But if I do record to present, I can't remove my background in Canva, so it's just me on the screen.
Simple.
And I really want to see that. I need that really bad, because you can't even upload a background. So it just, to me, it just looks janky, because you just want it to look smooth and you want to be only you in the video, but it's the whole background behind you. So just being able to remove that background would be huge. That's something I feel like they can easily fix.
Yeah. Us end users, it's like, hey, I can do this thing with this kind of video, but I can't do this thing with that. Like, why? We don't know.
Right.
There's some reason, right?
There's some reason.
Wow. Now
so that would be my magic wish list.
That's
okay.
Send it. I didn't think to ask Christie this, but you've got the moment with us.
Yeah.
Do your students get accounts in Canva, or do you have?
We're a Canva district. We're a Canva district, so not only do we all have accounts, but we're a single sign-on through our Clever Like sign-on. So they go into my backpack and they click on it, and it takes them right to their teacher's classroom. The teacher can upload things straight into Google Classroom. They can turn things in on Canva, and the teacher can comment and send it back. So it's totally encompassed in our learning system in Atlanta.
That's so beautiful. Why that triggered for me was, I was like, oh, if you can make those YouTube videos and take the background out of it, like, what could the students be doing? And I was like, wait a second, can the students get accounts?
Yeah, they can do everything but use Magic Write, which is fine.
Yeah,
Magic Write's for the AI writer, but I like Magic Write for me when I'm being lazy on a presentation. So I can go into Docs and ask Magic Write to write me a presentation on something, and then click Convert to Presentation, and it takes it from a document and makes it a slide deck with a click. Yes. And that's like, there's a glitch in the matrix I've gotten
through. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm a fan. Josh and I are huge fans of this moment of AI and everything kind of blowing up. I think we're gonna stretch ourselves a little bit, probably further than and then I think we'll pull it back into a medium space where it's working effectively.
Right.
And
I kind of feel like for teachers, if you don't jump on this right now, you're going to get left behind, and your job's going to be really difficult. When you could make it 100 times easier by letting AI automate some things in your life. I've had it write permission slips, which is way better than me. My conference proposals I throw in AI, IEP goals, like anything really, and it just makes it better than I could make it.
Right. Well, and so the Canva connection there is that Canva has Magic Write. Magic Write can help you put text onto visual images, or can it actually
basically the document? It's actually their version of ChatGPT. You tell it what you want it to write you, and it writes it in the document. They do have image or text to image, which I used with a student. He had to do an environmental science project. We had to make a superhero representing a form of energy reduction. So he chose hydroelectric power. So we put in Canva the text to image. We put in the text box a superhero with a blue and white costume controlling water, and it hit enter, and it gave us 10 images just like that.
Yeah, it's an AI
and we just had to pick one, and it was so cool because I was like, "This is exactly what we needed." He was like, "What?" He was like, "How did you do that?" So...
I'm curious, Renee, since it sounds like you're a power user, but have you played at all with the actual AI image editor? So their Magic Edit is the other AI. They've added a couple AI features, Will, if you haven't played with it. And one of them I've enjoyed with is the just Magic Edit for photos. So you can actually use AI to edit existing photos. And we had a good old time putting sunglasses on people and adding hair to bald people. That was a good old time. It got a little creepy, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's been fun to use that. I like their new animation tool as well, because you can leverage that for a lot of learning. I made my students that I tutor for math, I made them, we're doing coordinate planes. So I did an illustration of how you plot a point on a coordinate plane with their animation feature. So they could actually see it as I talked about it. it reminded me of like the old days sing-along videos with like the little ball bouncing. But
Follow the
it
bouncing
was
bee.
a purpose. But it was really cool. So, and they really liked it.
Oh, this is awesome. Yes, win on win on win. Thank you so much, Renee. This is just one piece in a broader celebration of Canva and everything it can do for education. But now Josh and I are hooked. We have to have you back for so much more.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to come back anytime.
At this very moment, I'm starting to feel like Doctor Strange from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I feel like we've traveled through time, space, and universes to get to where we are today. But we have finally finished episode 100, the ExtraCanva. Right? That's what we're doing right now?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I like how like we sound weary and tired and like we just got here and the listeners kind of like, guys, this was like a normal size episode. What's your...
Y'all are just doing a regular episode. No, in this episode, folks, we are now weeks past whenever we started the episode, the interviews we've recorded, everything is finally concluded. A big thank you, and again, like a round of applause for Renee, Dawson, and Christie, Thompson. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. And sharing the great Canva ideas you do have and using. Make sure you connect with them on Twitter. We'll have links and stuff like that in our show notes and all those good things. But follow them and follow their success. Reach out for resources. Use the community for what it's worth doing. And those are two great people to follow in this space. Josh, Canva, I think, continues to be the bedrock of our digital experience. But it is just so freaking good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's like I love this tool for a lot of different reasons. I've been with Canva for a long time, been using it. Like I've been that made it sound like we have a partnership. We don't, but Canva, if you want to,
we're right
two guys sitting over here. But we've been using it for so long, and it's just I love Canva. Like at the end of the day, I started out on it because it was easier to use than Adobe, and even though I use Adobe, I was tired of having to I almost said muggle through it. You know what? That's a new thing now.
That's pretty good.
I'm making that a thing. I had to muggle through it.
No magic, all muggle.
I became a wizard the second I got Canva. It's made things so much easier for graphic creation and image creation for course development. But what I was just super impressed with Renee and Christie's stuff that they're doing is like, for instance, like the whole escape room thing in Canva. I never thought of doing that. Like setting up an escape room through Canva. That's super cool. And that just shows the flexibility and creativity that Canva allows you to have. I think at the end of the day, that's what I really like about Canva. It allows you and your students to have creativity without having to kill yourself learning some crazy tool or complicated system or whatever it may be. Canva makes it easy to do that, and I love their kind of education forward presence as a tool. I think that's just clear in the way they partnership, especially with K-12.
To extend the Harry Potter metaphor, right? We all have the magic within us, even muggles, but Canva is like our wand. It gives us the conduit for the creative power. And you know what? That's as simple as guidelines and free icons and free templates and stuff to just a easily usable platform, something that doesn't require a college degree or 5 years of experience.
Maybe a mini certificate,
a maybe one
day. Yeah.
Canva, we'll help you. We'll make that mini cert with you, Canva. We'd love to do that.
We jump on that. I think it's just it opens up creativity. What I really liked in some of the other examples were shared, like just being able to do video editing and stuff like that. That was the thing that I haven't really messed around with video editing in Canva very much. I know it more of an image tool. And just listening to each Christie and Renee talk about how they use that with students, and that Canva is a tool that allows students to actually create video content, but gives them elements to put in the video content.
Yep.
At the end of the day, Canva, I think, is a tool that helps educators give a resource of creativity to their students without them having to be experts in a digital tool to do it. Don't get me wrong, Adobe can do things Canva cannot. Okay, and there are classes that teach Adobe. There are people that should be learning Adobe. If you're going into professional graphic design, you should probably still know Adobe, although who knows, AI might do it for you at some point. But for students who are just creating a video project for their geography course or their philosophy class or whatever that may be, right? They don't need that whole suite of Adobe tools. They just need something they create a video in that'll give them cool graphics and elements and things to be able to express their creativity, and within doing it, learn more about the topic or the situation that they're working on. So I think that's just what Canva gives to us.
And it's that creator suite, the creator studio approach. Like somebody can get in there, they learn the Canva way, they have everything they need. Like you said, it doesn't have everything that you could possibly do with an image, but like Flipgrid is meant for, or Flip now, right, is meant for students to just record themselves. It's so simple. It's unilateral. Canva is meant for students to have a design studio. It is a studio experience. It's not just, crop a photo or something like that. You can flip, crop, invert, change the colors, switch all your icons and illustrations. Like it's just,
in the time we've been recording this episode too, they've added things. Like, I don't know if you know this now, but like so in Canva there's layers, right? And obviously in like an Adobe you can visualize layers in ways. In Canva there was never really, at least I didn't know of a system you could do that. There's now a thing in Canva that shows me, I can click into it, it shows me the different layers in the image that I'm creating or video, as different basically cards, and I can move the layers around instead of having to keep clicking send to back or send the whole way to backward or whatever. You can now slide the layers around or click on the layers with the ones you want to edit. It's awesome. That was not a thing that was there when we started recording this episode, as far as I know. I could have missed it. Let's just be real. But I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah.
Canva, we love you. Folks who are using it, we encourage you to continue using it. Remember, not the 5th of November, but that education platform is free for you. Get in there, sign up, enjoy it. I know plenty of people who we've talked about, joked about it. I think your mom uses it. My sister-in-law uses it. Casey uses this. It's a very popular tool.
My sister who's teaching just started using it the other day. She was trying to do stuff in Google Slides. And she had an image of she teaches much younger age. She had an image of dotted lines and lines for writing lines. And she couldn't get them to be bigger, and she was like, well, it's an image, I don't know how to make it bigger. I was like, well, you could just go to Canva and make it fresh lines,
make it as big as you want.
And make it as big as you want. And she did. Within 10 minutes she had a model set up in Canva. So and
she thanked you forevermore.
And for those listening, technically ExtraCanva is not done. Okay, so we'll end it this way. The ExtraCanva episode is done, but this whole week we will be posting on Twitter different stuff. I will be posting about how I use Canva to do some stuff. I'm going to do a little tutorial on how I use Canva for the podcast. We're going to be posting some other content. We're going to be doing, do we call it a Ask Me Anything event?
Something like that.
Is that what it's called?
A Q&A, at least.
A Q&A, at least. We've been in touch with Canva, and there will actually be a representative involved in that with some hashtags. Hopefully. We'll see. They're in a different time zone than most of the rest of us, so that should be a fun game. But either way, there's a whole thing this whole week. So if you do not follow us on Twitter, make sure you do it at HiTech Podcast. If you don't have a Twitter, go get one. Just join. I promise it's not that scary.
Fine.
You at least just follow us. We're fine. It's mostly just Ted Lasso gifts and episodes.
Who's not down for that? Come on.
Anyway, so go follow us there. Speaking of other social media things, you can follow us at HiTech Podcast on YouTube as well. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell. I don't know, things people say at the end of every video.
The thumbs up. I don't know. There's things that you just
like it and then hit the bell to whatever buttons do it.
Push them, please. Just not the big red one.
Yeah, not the report. Please don't do that. Anyway, you can also get a hold of us by emailing us at inbox@hitechpod.us. And check out our website if you've not, hitechpod.us. That's where we put all of our information, like social media, for the guests that are on, all that fun stuff. So make sure to check that out. On our next episode, it'll be ExtraCanva Part 2. No, I'm just joking.
What?
What? No.
2 weeks of Canva.
Yeah, crazy. Episode 101, we take on the very uplifting topic. It was higher ed dying.
dun
Dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun.
dun.
I didn't know where we were
dun,
going with that.
dun,
Okay.
dun.
I was about to do a different thing. Anyway.
Imperial March.
Yeah, that's where I start going. So is higher ed dying? Will and I give our hot take on that subject. It's been popping up a lot on social media and conversations, so check that out. We also are going to be talking about an awesome AI-based tool called Research Rabbit. We talked about it on a previous episode with a good friend of ours, Justin, but only briefly. So Will and I go into a much deeper dive into what Research Rabbit can do and why we think it's a great tool. So check that out, episode 101 coming out next week. With that, folks, thank you again for joining us for another week as we continue to learn what it looks like to harness technology in the classroom, in the world. We're expanding our topics a little bit, so we might be talking about some more stuff beyond just EdTech, whether online or in person. Thank you again. See ya.
See ya.